All right, welcome back to another episode of Mic Checka, my interview series. As they would say, as I'm the Teddy Riley of podcasting with so much going on, I like to do my own things from time to time. And dope people that I want you all to meet in dope conversation as always. Shout out to Hario, who was on the last show talking about narcissism. So we have a great guest with us here. Podcaster herself, entrepreneur, really killing it out here. Podcast on mental health and the way we are going and how we need to check up on each other as people and how we can go forward, especially as Black people. We got a lot of mental health issues from slavery, etc. Moving forward, post-slavery, Jim Crow, all those different things. The beautiful Lauren Spearman, thank you for coming on Mic Checker.
Thank you so much for having me. I was a little nervous when you said you were the Teddy Riley because I was like, is his sound going to be right? But I'm so honored to be here and glad to sit down with you. This means so much. Thank you for inviting me.
No, man. You're doing some dope things, man. So let's start off with your journey. Tell a little bit about your podcast and how you came about it and your kind of entrepreneur thing, and then we can kind of go back to your history.
Definitely. So with the podcast, Check on Your Strong Friends, I was noticing a lot of people in the media who were committing suicide. So it went from Robin Williams, the actor, to Kate Spade, the purse designer, as well as a couple of pastors, like mega church pastors, committed suicide. And it just really reminded me that a lot of people that we think have it all together and are successful and are financially stable, you still have to check on those type of people because you never know the battles that people are having inside of their own mind. And just me being an overcomer of depression, and I still deal with anxiety from time to time, but overcoming depression and knowing what that walk looks like with mental health, I knew that this was something that we needed to put out there, that, just because you see somebody glammed up in a cute selfie or happy and bubbly and telling jokes, it does not mean that they are happy on the inside. Most comedians are funny because they have the darkest lives that they're going through behind the scenes that nobody knows about. So I was like, we need to bring some type of platform to normalize the conversation surrounding mental health and allow people to be mindful that the people that ask for help the least are typically the ones who need it the most. So check on your people.
So you're saying that some people be asking for too much help.
Yeah. And then, a lot of people are pulled in all directions because unfortunately, when you are the successful one and the dependable one of the family, everybody comes to you. And it's like, who do you come to? Who do you go to when you need something, when you are everybody else's go-to? And I think it's important that we stop pouring out what we don't have to give and just keep filling and checking on each other.
So everybody can download this on all the different platforms.
Yes, I am everywhere. I'm not on iHeart quite yet. I'm still working on iHeart, but everywhere else: Google Podcasts, Anchor,
I'll show you how to do
Apple
it
Podcasts.
after we get done. It's a little.
Thank you,
way,
because
yeah.
I submitted that form and I'm just like in a waiting period or something.
It's another way you can do it through like a little bit. I'll show you when we get off.
You're about to give me the plug. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I need that.
No problem. So let's start your journey. So you didn't grow up. You're from St. Louis, but you didn't grow up here. But so what is your family journey and your kind of experience moving forward in your life?
Sure. So I moved around a lot as a kid because my mom worked for the airlines, as well as she just loved traveling and going to new places. So I've lived in California, Maryland. I've lived in Texas. And then I also went to college in Atlanta, Georgia. And my sophomore, Clark, Atlanta.
Clark, okay.
CAU.
Yeah.
Yes. Shout out to CAU and the whole AUC.
Yeah.
But my sophomore going into my junior year, I came home for the summer, ran into old flame, had no business running into, but I got pregnant.
Oh.
So yeah. So you can imagine, I grew up the church girl, the one that everybody just knew was going to be a stellar student and scholar. And I'm coming home from college midway through pregnant. So that was definitely something that took me to a personal rock bottom because I grew up pretty privileged. But once I had got pregnant, my mom basically told me, hey, you want to do grown people stuff? You go be grown and be out there on your own. And so I literally, was a 19-year-old single mom living down on Grand and Cass
Shout out to Granny
With
Cass. That's the
yeah,
close where I
shout out
grew
to
up.
O'Fallon Park Apartments. My baby was 7 months old. I still sometimes don't know how I made it through down there, just walking by ourselves, living by ourselves, but by the grace of God, we made it. But that period of time was pivotal for me because it allowed me to grow up. As I was raising my daughter, I was raising myself. So that spoiled, privileged kid, had to
Dog.
grow up into a independent woman who was more appreciative and more cognizant of the world and the community around her, and more appreciative of the little things that I did have and not necessarily material things.
Okay, man, that's that's wild. So you still represent CAU though, even though you had to leave.
Listen, I do. I told somebody the other day, I'm about to buy a sweatshirt and I'm gonna rock it and I'm gonna call myself an alumni because we put about $40,000 into that
Hey,
school.
look, you ain't lying. Look, if I went to school for a week, I went there,
Thank
especially
you.
college when you paying.
And look, I thought about getting an online certification from Harvard and getting a Harvard sweatshirt too while I'm
Oh,
at it.
I'm already on that. Look, I'm already looking at Wash U. I'm gonna get all that stuff. I'm gonna you
Hmm.
gonna think I was like, man, you when'd you go to Wash U? I went. Don't worry about
Exactly.
it.
I'm certified.
As I'm redoing my office here, I'm gonna have I'm gonna have it everywhere. I'm gonna have all my little online degrees, a whole little section just for online
Exactly.
degrees, just for online degrees.
Because due to the pandemic, that's what we're moving towards anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
get yours for
I mean,
sure.
something now. I'm not cool with the for-profit ones. That's just me personally. That's my
Hmm.
bouginess coming through. Like when I see for-profit university, like, oh no, I'm good. Because
Yeah,
I want one that at least they act like they ain't for profit.
exactly. Exactly. And that's what I love about, our HBCUs. And I would never trade that experience for the world, just being down there with the bands and
Yeah.
the dancers and the energy and the culture. So I'm so proud of my time at Clark Atlanta.
So you get down there anytime, every now and then, and check it, and you go down there still.
Every now and then, but I don't go to the AUC. So I need to go down there, like, preferably if homecoming is back next year, I'll try to get down there so I can be back in the swing of things with the young people.
So I mean, what time period was that at Clark? Because Clark has got a lot of different pockets of time,
Oh yeah. So for
because of
me,
different
that
people.
was 2000. It was 2003 to 2005 is when I
Okay,
was
so
there.
you crime mob era.
Yes, I'm Nuckafy Buck. All of that.
No, so that was the crime mob CAU era. Okay, like when they was
Yes.
what video did they shoot on Clark's campus? Rocky Hips,
Oh, okay. Rocket
Rocky
Hips.
Hips.
And then also when I was there, our homecoming was done by a very new artist at the time called Kanye West.
Of course.
And now that I look back, I'm like, wow, like that was such a priceless, experience to be able to, for like $50, see a young Kanye West when he still had the polo and the backpack on, to see him perform. Because now
So
you,
this is through the wire, Kanye. I'm assuming.
yes, this is through the wire Kanye. Like he was like the opener, like he
Oh
was
wow.
new. So yeah, that was pretty dope.
Wearing two polos, Kanye.
Yes.
So let's go into, so you after CAU you go
Mhm.
through everything with your daughter, getting yourself out of that. How did you get into that space of wanting to be an entrepreneur?
Well, it kind of chose me.
Okay.
So fast forward to 2017, I went through a year of loss. Like my 2017 was like 2020 to most people.
Okay.
It was like I could not catch a break. It was one thing after another. I had a relationship I was in for about 9 years that was starting to come apart at the seams. And subsequently, we both were having issues with our jobs and our finances, and the apartment that we shared was gone, the car that we shared was gone,
Damn.
and
Oh no, you're
the
right.
relationship,
This sounds hellacious.
yeah, the relationship left soon after. And then we also were in the midst of finding out that my 2-year-old son was diagnosed with autism.
Oh man.
So I was at a point where I was just like, I mean, what else can you take from me? Like, what else can you do? I don't have a place to live. I don't have a car to drive. I don't have a man. My son is having these challenges, and I'm blaming myself and trying to figure out if there's anything different I could have done in regards to that. So I literally had hit rock bottom in every area of my life. And it took some key people who rallied around me and was like, no, we're not going to let you live in depression. I tell people all the time, it was such an ugly time for me. And that's why I enjoy getting glammed up and being part of things now, because I was a recluse.
Mm.
I was shopping at Old Navy for dresses that went from my neck down to my ankles. I was not doing my hair. Sometimes I didn't change out of pajamas for days at a time.
Hey, hold on,
I
hold on. I
was,
do that now. I do that now. I mean, I have a nice line
I'm
of.
just saying.
I wear pajamas out in general sometimes.
Well, see, now it's okay because now we're all like quarantining in a pandemic.
No, I was doing it before. I was doing it before.
Oh, oh,
I, I had a
oh,
whole style I was
let me
doing.
clean.
And like I call it po pimping. That's the style I call it po pimping. That's the style I kind of coined it.
Oh, I like that. That's
So
chic.
with
I
so
like
the
that.
style started with wearing sweatpants and blazers. That's where it
Okay,
started at.
I can see that. Okay.
And then it just kind of, as I got older and more curmudgeon, it went to blazers and
I just
pajama
tried that like
pants.
in a photo shoot. Can I steal that?
Yeah. But the thing is, though, people don't even know that they're pajama pants sometimes.
Oh, okay.
You know, like
Are
I
they
got
like
some.
plaid? Do they have a
Yeah, sometimes they're
pattern?
plaid. Like I got some
Okay.
dope polo ones that look like they're like workout clothes, but they're really pajamas. So no, so I don't let
Shout
y'all
out to
hate me when
Ralph
I'm saying, yeah.
Lauren.
Like that's what I always said. Like, man, you know, as more sponsors come in for the network, I definitely need to get a pajama sponsor because I'm gonna rock that all the
Yeah,
time.
definitely get yourself a brand ambassadorship. You deserve
Yeah,
it.
I'm out.
But
Wait till the club open back up.
I'm telling you,
Even though I
but
haven't been
yeah,
to a club in
so
a long time, but still.
going through that time just basically put me
Yeah.
in a place where I was like, once I finally came out of it, I knew that I didn't go through it just for me. I
Yeah.
knew that there were other women out there who had lost themselves, let themselves go, were stuck being somebody's mama, somebody's girlfriend, somebody's wife, and had forgotten who they were. And I said, it's time for me to bet on myself and to start building a business where I can be an inspirational speaker and where I can help other women like me to find their purpose. And from there, I got furloughed from my job earlier in the pandemic
A lot of us.
and was thrust into full-time entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
so
No, I dig it.
so it found me.
Yeah. No, that's dope. That's dope. So, what made you decide to start the like? What made you decide to start the podcast and like the format? How did you decide on that format that you have?
Absolutely. So I ran into some great guys, Arlington Lane and Palmer Alexander the
Yeah, those are my
third of
people. Those are my
of
people.
In the Zone Network.
Yeah, those are my
They
people.
had me on their network and on their show. And at the end of me being their guest, they were like, "You need your own podcast." And I was like,
Shout out to the
everybody
A
and their
Train.
mama. Yes, the A Train Arlington Lane. He's actually on one of my episodes too. But I'm
Yeah,
like,
that was the one.
everybody and their
That's
mama
actually
got
that's how I
one.
found you. Is that episode with Arlington on there?
Did you like it? Did you listen to
Yeah.
it?
That one was good. That one was real good. That was real good. I tell
Okay.
Arlington he's too nice though sometimes.
Oh, he is. He is. He's a sweetheart. But yeah, so they were the ones who encouraged me to do a podcast, and I really was trying to fight against it so much because I tell people all the time, the bread out theory, there's enough room for all of us to succeed. But when it came to myself, I was doubting it. I was like, it's too many podcasts. No, who wants to listen to me? And they were the ones who pushed me to do it. And when all of that stuff was going on with the suicides and the mental health, I said, check on your strong friends. It was like a light bulb went off and it just took on a life of its own.
So what is some of the guests you've had so far on the show?
Sure. So we talked about Arlington Lane,
Hmm.
who is a podcaster, audio visual genius. He was on there. I had Bruce Franks Jr., the STL Superman
Hmm.
politician, Oscar nominated. I
Oops. Some
had
people know him as Oops the
Oops.
rapper.
Yes. If you know him,
Yeah,
it's
you know him
Oops
as
the
Oops.
rapper.
He's a battle
And
rapper. People don't know that.
he's yes, he's a battle rapper. He's so dope with words, with spoken word. And I had Etoya R. White, who is a licensed counselor who came on to represent the brothers, as well as Monty Mont, who is a media mogul and podcaster in Las Vegas.
Okay.
So my first season, I was intentional about only having male guests just because I wanted to lift up the voices and amplify the voices of Black men. And I wanted my audience to get to know me and my distinct voice. And so season 2, which releases on Thursday, will be all women interviewed on that season.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay, I like that.
Now that I feel like the audience knows my voice pretty much.
Okay, that's dope. I like that concept with that. So, is there any guests that you do want to get? Like, you like, man, I want to get this person for my show.
Yes, I really want to interview Thistle. Are you familiar with him?
Sissel. No, break me down with that.
Thistle. So Thistle is THIS apostrophe L, and he is a St. Louis based rapper and activist. He has a story of he was shot numerous times, and he had to heal and learn how to walk again and kind of bounce back from that experience. And now he's a motivational speaker, and that's a cold brother. I would love to interview him for the podcast for sure. As far as on the men's side, and on the women's side, who would I say? Somebody from St. Louis, right?
No, it could be anybody. It could be anybody. A dream
That could be
interview could be anything.
anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So a dream interview, then definitely I would want to. I want to talk to Oprah. I know that sounds so
Ah.
cliche. I
Nah.
know it sounds so cliche, but I really want to sit across from Oprah and just soak up her wisdom and her gems and pray that some of her billionaire status falls off on me.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. We all want to be Oprah. I mean, who wouldn't want to be
Hmm.
Oprah? So with your show, what is the one of the most concerns? You had all men on there. What was the most interesting thing you found out
Hmm.
from having all men on the show?
Mm. I think that all men aren't the same. I feel like growing up in today's society and going through relationships, that's one of the main recurring themes that was always drilled into my mind. All men are the same, all men are dogs, all men, like this or this way. And each of the men that I had on my show, including rapper Vandalism, I forgot to mention
Yeah,
him.
that's my
He's
boy. That's my boy Van.
super
Van is good.
dope,
Very insightful dude.
so dope. I had so much fun. I think that's my longest episode. It's like 2 hours because I was just having fun, just
That's one of my
kicking it.
longest episodes. All of my longest episodes have Van on them too. So
Yes, he's so freaking dope. But each of the men were distinctively different. And they each had a different perspective and a different flavor that they brought. So just being mindful that all men are not the same, all Black men are not the same, and that they truly do want to be heard. And sometimes I think as women we talk, but these men sometimes just need you to listen to them and hear what they're saying and comprehend it and apply it to the situation versus just talking at them or waiting for a space so you can start talking.
yeah, because it's interesting. I guess I mean, and all people in general don't want to be put inside a box. And I think with
Mm-hmm.
mental health, it's weird because I mean, I go to therapy myself, and the interesting thing is, I think a lot of brothers, particularly brothers, we don't have. I want to say it's a safe space. It's like a weird actualization of who we are. So we will pump ourselves up to this
Mm-hmm.
level of being this, but when we're really somebody else, and we don't maybe necessarily have the opening for that. It's a
Yeah.
weird thing. Women don't either though. So it's like it's a different battle. And it's a different thing that both people kind of need, for their mental capabilities or whatnot.
Definitely. And Van was one who really surprised me because he was just like a wild card episode that I just wanted to sit down with him because of how dope his perspective was on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he actually came out and we were talking about his song, The Prayer,
Mm-hmm.
and he started to talk about times in his life where he experienced depression, that really shocked me because I'm like, but Van is so freaking talented and he's
Yeah.
so funny and he's so witty and he thinks on his feet. And it's just one of those constant reminders that, like, hey, this is why you did the show, because most of the people that don't look like they have gone through it or maybe going through it now.
Yeah. So have you thought about have you been to therapy yourself?
Definitely, yes.
I was like, yeah, I can tell.
Hmm.
You can tell other people that go through therapy.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You can tell
And
people that go through therapy.
unfortunately, my therapist that I had for many years passed away. His name was Dr. Stephen Heyman.
Oh wow.
And he recently passed away, and it hurt me to my core because it's like, now I gotta try to find somebody else I feel comfortable with. So I'm still in the
Yeah.
process because I want to be proactive and not reactive.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I want to keep up that maintenance work.
So with the show, now you were telling me something about actually what not even let me even take a step back. You were telling me that you could can you describe what the photo shoot you went to and like what you all were doing in that organization as well because that was kind of cool as well.
Oh yeah, so the STL Collective is an organization of women in St. Louis, Missouri, founded by Portia Key, and she owns La Femme Rebelle Boutique. And she had the inspiration to start the organization when the article came out last year in April stating that St. Louis was leading the nation in women-led startups. So that means that either a woman was, she founded it from the ground up, or she was a CEO making the decisions for the startup or for the company. And when they saw that, they were like, "Oh, this is dope. We need to, put some Black women together, make a collective, and bounce ideas off of each other, have a safe space where we can curate events together, network with other bosses, and, maybe even collaborate and do some things together." And so when she came up with that organization, they dropped their first photo shoot. I believe the first one, they were all in shades of nude. I believe it was either nude or red. But it's just they became known for these photo shoots with all of the boss women that were Black entrepreneurial women in the area.
Okay.
So this particular time around, this is the fourth one, I believe. And I was part of the third one. And I just knew I had to get in on this one too. It's like the it photo shoot that you want to be part of if you're a Black woman that owns a business in St. Louis. Just to be seen and photographed with 14 other boss women, all donned in the same color. And the photo shoot is fierce. It's
Okay.
off the chain. So that was
When's it
such a
coming out?
pleasure
When
to
is the
be
photo
part
shoot
of
coming
that
out?
group of women. You know what? I believe they probably need about a couple weeks or so to edit all the pictures because in addition to the group shot, we have solo shots as well. So she's gonna need some time to edit all those photos, but it should be out in the next couple of weeks.
All right. So I mean, so we're gonna do this is a little segment I'm gonna call either this or you can get with this or you can get with that. So
Okay.
Martin or Fresh Prince.
Now you know I love them both for different reasons. It's like asking me
See,
which one of my children I love.
hey, look, this is you can either get with this or get with that.
Whew, man. Mm, I'm gonna have to go with Fresh Prince. Maybe because I just saw the reunion.
Okay, you having a little bit of what's
Yeah, a
called
little
where's
bit of nostalgia,
yeah.
and Uncle Phil is still weighing heavy on my heart. So I'm gonna
What about
say
Tommy?
Fresh
Tommy just
Prince.
died too.
He did, we did lose Tommy. I think the problem is that Martin for me lost his magic when him and Tisha were going through those issues, and they had
Yeah,
to like film separately, and then she left the show, and Pam took over a record label. The show just kind of got weird.
yeah.
So for that reason, Fresh Prince, I was with it the whole way through.
All right, Coming to America or Harlem Nights.
Coming to America.
Oh, you were definitive on that one. There's a lot of people,
Hmm.
say it's other things. All right, Friday now or Money Talks.
Mm, Money Talks.
Ooh, see, okay, okay. A lot of people sleep on Money Talks. I feel like. All right,
I like Money Talks.
Nas or Jay Z.
Whew, well, if we're going looks wise, of course Nas. But musically, I love Jay-Z.
I mean, I don't think anyone was going to choose Jay Z looks wise over Nas. I mean, that's nothing against
You
the Jigga
know,
Man. I'm just saying. I mean, that's a walk away win for
but
Nas.
I love Yeah, I love Nas as a lyricist, but when I think about those hits that I still play, it's Dirt Off Your Shoulders, it's Excuse Me Miss, like I'm jamming to Jay-Z like it just came out yesterday.
All right, give me your top five rappers of all time.
Okay, so let's go ahead and say Jay-Z.
Okay, yep, you've been speaking good about him.
Um, Definitely got to throw a Biggie and Pac in there. That's a given. Um, I'm gonna throw Nicki in there. I think Nicki
Okay.
is dope. With her wordplay, her metaphors, her style. And I have one more. I think I'm gonna give it to M. I think I'm gonna give it to Eminem.
Okay. 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 That's a solid selection. All right, another one.
Yeah,
Different World or Cosby Show.
Different World.
Okay.
I love me
Showing
some the
you're showing
Different
your age.
World.
Everybody under 45 chooses a different world. Everybody over 45 chooses Cosby Show.
Yeah, Different World is the reason why I went to college. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay.
It wasn't for the education. It was because I wanted the experience that they had in a different world.
Yeah, no, I mean that was the whole thing. Is like, man, I want to be like that. I saw myself in Dwayne
Mm-hmm.
Wayne. Like that was
Did you
it.
really?
Of course. Oh my God. Yeah. That was literally my college was just like that.
Cause see, I would think that Dwayne Wayne was a little on the nerdy side. So
Oh
that's why
yeah.
I'm like, you see yourself in Dwayne?
Yeah. It took me a while to get my wings up under me.
Oh, okay. So you're saying the old you? Because I'm like, you seem to have a
Yeah, no,
swag and
yeah. No, but I'm saying,
okay.
but like, you see, remember, Dwayne Wayne got more swag as he got older in college and got more comfortable with who he was. Same thing
Yeah,
with,
you're right. You're right. You're right. I can give you that. Okay.
yeah, I had to learn a lot of different things that freshman year. That freshman year wasn't no joke.
Growing pains for sure.
Yeah, and when I'm not even talking about academically. Academically, I was fine. It was more myself and socially,
Finding yourself.
hmm and learning who I was.
But the good thing about college was you could totally reinvent yourself. So if you were that whack bully person in your high school, it didn't matter. When you come to college, you could pretend like you was that ish
Yeah,
back where you lived.
yeah. You're
And
right.
nobody could tell you different. Nobody could fact check it. You could reinvent yourself.
So if you had to choose one thing to take to a desert island, what would it be?
It's got to be some type of music device. Like I need music,
Okay.
period.
So no food, no spirit, something to hunt.
Listen, music is what determines my mood.
Okay.
It lifts me up, it mellows me out, it makes me sad and evokes emotion. It makes me want to get amp and party or fight. Music is so powerful to me. I need music wherever I go.
Okay. I mean, I ain't mad at that. So when it comes to mental health with women, what do you think is from your experience, especially doing the podcast and is what you've been going through? What do you think is the biggest misconception of women when it comes to their mental health?
Mm. I think the wrong definition of strength and the strong black woman. I think that is what is harming us the most because so many of us are avoiding our issues and trying to mask what we're going through because we're told we got to suck it up, we got to be strong, we got to carry all of this weight and not break, and we have to not look like what we're going through, and we have to keep our home problems at home and not talk about them outside the house. And we are carrying so much weight on our shoulders just trying to live up to being this ride or die, quote unquote, strong black woman, when the real strength is delegating, letting go, walking away, saying no, setting boundaries. Those things are the real strength. So that wrong definition for strength, I think, is what's really messing up black women mentally.
So you talk about boundaries of how do you set your boundaries now? Over time, like what is it like where you're like, man, I got to set my boundaries better with this or that.
Mhm. People pleasing. I used to be a people pleaser, and it went all the way back to my daddy issues and
Mm,
wanting approval for my dad and wanting to impress my dad when he was more so wanting to be out in the streets. And so as I grew up, I started to look for validation and kudos and pats on the back from other people. And that meant always doing what they they wanted me to do, or buying them things or making them happy. And I realized that people started to take advantage. Nobody was pouring back into me. Nobody was asking me how I felt. I was a pushover. I was a doormat, and I was completely miserable being so. So once I figured that out, I was like, it's time to set some boundaries with some people and be able to tell them, I don't feel like it today. I don't have any money. Even if I do, I can't help you. I can't
Right.
do it, just to be able to keep some of my own sanity.
So, how do you what do you suggest that for other people as well, to do the same thing when it comes to
Absolutely.
setting their boundaries?
Absolutely. You have to be comfortable with saying no when it's something that you are not comfortable with doing, or you just flat out don't want to do. Be unapologetic about it. It is okay to put yourself first and to prioritize your needs first, because what happens is we will drown ourselves trying to save somebody else. And they look back and they're not even thinking about us, or they're not even trying to pull us back out.
And it's because it's
So
all about them, right?
it's all about them. So definitely put your needs first. I was actually just talking to a girlfriend on the phone, um, just to disclosing to her about a time that my car got taken. And she was like, I didn't even know that your car had gotten taken. What happened? You on Uber, you were on buses. And I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. You didn't know, because I was ashamed to tell you that
Mm.
I was sending my money to a man who was telling me that he was in dire straits and needed help, and his children needed help, and all of this stuff just pulling on my
Was this brother in
heartstrings.
Jamaica or something, or
No,
what was it, little
no,
Stedman from, what is it from, from what's the movie, Stella Got a Groove Back?
no, he wasn't. He was right here in the US, but
Okay,
he was pulling on my heartstrings.
this
And
sound
my
like a Chicago
problem
dude. This
was,
sound like a Chicago dude. He's from
my
Chicago, ain't he?
no, he wasn't from Chicago.
Detroit.
Uh-uh.
Okay, okay, those are my top two cities. You can tell me offline if I'm right. It's Chicago, Detroit, or those are really kind of the ones. Or Philly, them Philly cats too be on some.
Yeah, he was smooth, and he pulled on my heartstrings, and I was, sending him money and helping him, and the next thing I knew, my car was being pulled away. So definitely a hard lesson in making sure to take care of yourself first before helping others.
So with that, so is that have you figured out, I guess, your issues or your feelings, I guess, within your mental health when it comes to relationships, or is that something,
Yeah,
or is that an
I've
ongoing
definitely,
process still for you? I mean, it's always
yeah,
an ongoing
both.
process for everybody. I mean, but
It's definitely both. There are some things that I have absolutely healed from, and that trauma that I experienced, I'm healed from. But the daddy issues, there are still underlying things that I notice that come out that I have to constantly work on and affirm myself and keep in check, so that I'm not looking for others to fill any voids for me.
mm, I can feel that. That's heavy stuff, then, man. I mean, that's a lot of stuff to have to
Yeah.
unpack, and really like look at yourself and be like, okay, where am I at? And not necessarily blaming that past, but confronting that past in order
Yeah.
to move forward with it, and for you won't hurt other people. Because that's my main thing now, is just not trying to hurt other people,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
And because we internalize that hurt, and we hurt other people, and we do that to, our children, our lovers, our family, and you got to get that shit out of you before you can kind of be a better person, overall.
That's so true. And I'm 35 years old, and I'm still healing from some of those scars that my father left when I was younger. So if there are any fathers that are listening, definitely make sure to be in your daughter's life,
I
because
agree.
if you don't affirm her and tell her that you love her, she will spend her life trying to look for men that will do it. And those men that she'll look to will not love her properly. I'll just say it like that. So make sure to be in your children's lives.
Ooh, that's a that's a bar right there for brothers out there. They need to go and
Yeah,
it's the great old school song from OG. It was OG and the Bulldog. Be a father to your child.
definitely.
If y'all remember that old school track, "Be a Father to Your Child." So what's next for the podcast? You said they got the women, all women coming up. What does the future hold for you? Period. With this journey with the podcast.
Absolutely. So season 2, I'm super excited. I'm interviewing all women, and every single recording I left either crying or I left heavy.
Oh
because there
wow.
are so many women that I reached out to them because they're popping and they're doing amazing things in the city. And then the conversation would turn every time to, I was a victim of domestic violence, or I was molested by my stepfather, or I was molested by my cousin, or, I had 9 miscarriages,
Mm,
or, just crazy things that you would never think these women have gone through. And each episode, somebody is dropping a bomb. We have a woman who's living and thriving with HIV, who tells her story about contracting the disease, and that relationship downfall. And it's just so
wow.
incredible, the stories that these women are telling. And it's like, you have to know that the people that you see out there that, are doing their thing, you never know what they have going on the inside. So even beyond this podcast, I just want to continue to drill that message of normalizing the mental health conversation, so people don't feel like it's taboo and people can get the help they need, and just continuing to get those untold stories from the people you do know, telling the stories that you don't.
Man, that is awesome. So where once again, where can they download the podcast at?
Absolutely. So you can go to the Anchor app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Breaker, Radio Public. It is
And
on
I'm gonna help her
all
get
of
on
those.
iHeart. I'm gonna help her get on
Yes,
iHeart.
I gotta get on iHeart. That's when I get on iHeart, I promise I'm gonna make a post. I'm gonna tag you, because that has been a goal of mine for the longest. And then on Instagram, you can follow me at Check on Your Strong Friends.
So it is. So what is? So you want the what do you want the podcast to become? Is where I'm at. More another more of my question. Like, what you see like the vision of, man, when it gets to here, I'll be able to set. I have a goal set. Like, what does that look like for you?
I absolutely want to have a conference.
Okay.
I don't know what that looks like in the terms of, us having this pandemic and having a limit on how many people that we can gather in a space, but it is my heart's desire to have a full conference and different type of breakout sessions that talk about mental health and wellness, and swag bags, and special high profile guests telling their story, and some amazing food. Like, I just want to do it up really, really big.
Okay. Okay. Now, dude, this is awesome, man. Once again, tell them where they can follow you again on IG.
Absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram at Check on Your Strong Friends. If you want to follow my personal page, feel free. That is under the Lauren Spearman.
All right. I don't tell people to follow the personal page sometimes, because you be having some brothers all up in there. I heard you was going through some things with a dude from Detroit. Why don't you try
Well,
brothers from
luckily,
Philly?
luckily I have overcome that situation, and I have a whole new guy. So I'm appreciative for that. But brothers, you can DM me to talk mental health anytime.
Well, thank you, Lauren, for coming on Mic Checka. Everyone, go check out the podcast, and we will see y'all soon. Peace.